Hey guys, Jay Price back with another video. So I wanted to make this video kind of like a tips and tricks video. So I got 10 things that will help you run SynciTRAGE just better, faster, smarter. And so without further ado, let us get started. Let me adjust myself here. So this is Brickseek.com. And for those of you who don't know, SynciTRAGE works with Brickseek to help generate leads for you on demand. And if you want to figure out how that works, look at our other videos, but we can for sure help you out with that. So uh, tip number one is to bookmark the online Markdown feed page on Brickseek. So a lot of the times I found myself coming to brickseek.com each and every time to type it in to get the extension to work. But what I started doing was I went to, and you can see the difference between these two URLs. So I would come to brickseek.com, and then I would go over to members area, and then I would come down here to online markdown feed, and then let it load, and then it would load the online markdown feed. Well, that's terrible and it's inefficient. And if you're going to be running, if you want to run smarter and faster and more lean, I know some of you are into lean principles, then we should eliminate those 2 or 3 clicks, especially if we plan on doing this multiple times a day. And so what I did was I just went to the online markdown feed, and you can see there's the URL right there. And if you just hit this star, you can actually add that to your bookmark and you can call it whatever you want. You can give it no name, you can give it a name, and then you can put it in whatever folder you want. And so that's the kind of the first tip is just bookmark the online markdown feed. It'll pay dividends in the future. Tip number two is the starts up here with the extension itself, and it's actually with the tutorial section. So if you click on tutorial, it'll bring you to where we have all of our videos being hosted. And actually I'm recording the tips and tricks video right now, but it's just where we plan on housing all of our videos on our website, and where you can come here and quickly see what videos that we've added in addition to our YouTube channel, but just come here and take a look at that as well. And I would call that was 2A. This is tip 2B. We're going to put our excluded search terms here on this page, on our tutorial page. It's not here yet, but it will be. And for those of you who don't know what that is, so certain things, I don't have it in this version. This is a newer version that's not yet released yet. But certain words like blanket, sheet, pillow, LOL, that stuff is never profitable or you can never sell it. So, and you can't apply to sell it. LOL has been like that for a while. So instead of wasting time and emotions on seeing that stuff that's not profitable or that you can never sell, we have this feature in SynciTRAGE to where you can just exclude those words in the title. And certain words or certain things are never profitable. At least I find them very rarely to be profitable. And so I keep a list of just like, common stuff. I try to keep it vague and I don't put too many brand restrictions in there. So like for me personally, I can't sell Dockers pants, but some people can, and so I wouldn't put that in that list. But I would put blanket, curtain, panel, mattress, stuff like that is very, very, very rarely profitable. And so you want to, if you want a list of that, that'll be here in the tutorial section. Tip number three, I wanted to walk you through how I do my morning setup. So I come in the morning, come to the office, and I want to buy some good, profitable, hard to take leads. And I turn to SynciTRAGE. I'm like, all right, let's go. What search do I run? So my typical search is I'll switch this to 8-hour markdown, and then I'll start that search. So I would let that run, and then I, would evaluate those leads, make some purchases, and then I would set it up on my automatic timer. But before, let's just assume we don't have the automatic timer. What kind of search would I run? Maybe in the middle of the day, maybe in the middle of the morning, even. Um, I would run a newest 1 hour. Those are my favorite types of searches to run midday because it's gonna run one really quickly, and it's usually only 8 or 9 pages. But also, it's going to give you the things that you didn't scan, maybe 2 to 3 hours prior, and it's just going to prioritize those newest leads within the hour. All right, that was tip number three. What about an overnight run, right? So if we we're if you know I get off work here in about an hour and a half, and but I want SynciTRAGE running for me in the background, I might select markdowns over 8 hours, or maybe newest over 8 hours, probably what I would run, and have that run every 8 hours is probably what I would set up. So I would come here to schedule and come up here, and it's actually getting ready to start running some schedule here. uh, so I would say newest 8 hour, and the schedule I would run it to run every 8 hours. So every 8 hours is evaluating all the newest leads and evaluating them. And then if I have sync paired with it, then it will automatically put those onto the back end of my website and in your online portal, so you can view those leads when you come in the morning. So that's an online search. So tip number four, the delete option. So for that, we need to start a search. So let's just say you started a search and you're like, you know what? I can't sell Sonance. So let's just delete those real quick. So we can enable our searches just to run faster and not waste time while that goes through the whole process. And then we can get to the next page faster. So that is the delete option there. Tip number five also has to do with this. So we pull a lot of data into SynciTRAGE, even though we don't use it all necessarily most of the time. We pull a lot of it. So what we're going to do is I ran a search early before I started this video. Usually I'm just using, you see where it says action and over here the image? That's usually all I'm making, all I'm looking at to decide whether or not I want to investigate something further. But sometimes I do want to see more information. So if you hold shift, and this works on any online web page, um, but if you hold shift and then scroll with your mouse wheel, does it work with the arrow? Yeah, it doesn't work with the arrow key, so you have to use your mouse wheel. You can actually scroll the page from left to right with hold it while you're holding down shift. And so I just wanted to drop that in here. Not a whole lot of people know about that, and I think it's pretty cool. I use it every single day. Um, on that note, also, what you can also do is, let's just say you wanted to look at everything that does not meet your criteria, right? And we can sort by net profit. So if you didn't want to see that, you want to see the highest net profit item that did meet your criteria, you can easily sort that up there. So that's kind of a part of that. But what if you wanted to look at shoe, something with the keyword shoe in it? You also could filter out by all of that by looking at the shoe there, or typing in the word shoe there. You would get all the listings with the word shoe in it. So let's clear that out. All right. All right. And then this one is just more like a uh, uh, my personal preference. I like to cast a wide net, and I know you guys have heard me say that before. But when I set up my searches, this is the default. So 50% minimum price difference, 10 keeper drops per month, 15% referral fee, $5 minimum net profit, and 40% ROI. That's like the ideal, right? But I've often found that I can find more stuff if I just loosen up my criteria, because at the end of the day, you are the expert. You know whether something is a true buy or not, and you shouldn't rely 100% on any given tool. And so, with that being the case, I like to cast a wide net. So I will usually knock my minimum requirements down some. So my minimum price difference, I'm going to make that 45% instead of 50. My keeper drops, I may make 8. My referral fee, I'm going to leave at 15. My minimum net profit will be 4, and my minimum ROI will be 35. And you can play with these just to see where you are, but I would just encourage you guys. This is the way I run my searches with these settings right here. I would encourage you to play with those and to see, what more you can get just from messing with those settings. All right, tip number 8, mismatches. So there are mismatches in SynciTRAGE, albeit they are very rare. We do have mismatches in SynciTRAGE, and so make sure that you are, especially if it's not, 100%. You can usually see it in the title, and what usually happens is it happens a lot with grocery items, or items that are prone to be bundles. So I wish that, let me see if I have one here. But what happens is both of those ASINs will use the UPC, And then, so SynciTRAGE, it's actually not, it's SynciTRAGE, it's Brickseek that'll say, we may have one here. Pack of four. Yeah, no, we don't have one here. Do we have one here? I bet we have one here, possibly. So, this is a six pack. What happens is Brickseek will detect, hey, Walmart has this for $1.40, so let's click on it. And then the Amazon link is $1, so let's click on that. So this is a 6 count, 1 pack for $1.40, and I don't know if this is a. This looks like it's not. Oh, it is. So this is a 6 pack. You can see that there. Items, package quantity, even though they put that in there wrong, I wouldn't source this because I don't think it's a match. But you can see if somebody is asking questions or not. So how many servings for 4.66? Six individual packets in each box, so you get 6 servings. So this may be a match. Um, I don't see people complaining like they just got one box. Um, but if you order this just from Walmart, it's so wait, it's no, it is or I don't see anybody complaining that they were supposed to get more than one box. Um, but even still, the profit margin is not there. So it happens a lot with groceries. So just make sure that you're watching out for that. Um, the mismatch ratio is very, very low, but they do occur. 100% they do occur. All right. Tip number 8, view the raw results. All right, so how do I view results in SynciTRAGE? I wanted to go over that. So typically the way that I'll do it is I'll come, the search results are finished, and this one that I just ran, there's 45 results total. I'm going to click here and I want to see the cream of the crop, right? I want to see the creme de la creme, the stuff that meets my criteria. And then I'm going to go from there. And you notice it's all highlighted in green because it meets my criteria. And then I'm going to evaluate these leads, right? I'm going to look at these. I usually will start looking at the static Keepa chart and say, you know what? I kind of like this graph. I think that there's, a healthy profit margin here. SynciTRAGE is estimating 22 bucks, 64% ROI. I like this. I'm clicking into it. I'm doing my evaluation and I'm buying or not buying or whatever. So that's how a typical run is. I'll look at the stuff that meets my criteria. And it's at this point in time that most people would be done, but not me. Again, I like to cast a wide net. So I'm going to drop down here and I'm going to look. And my next thing I was going to search is does not meet criteria. I'm going to hit apply. All right, so now we got 39, but I want to eliminate the negative profit stuff. So let's just say I want to have a net profit of $3. Hit apply, and then you can quickly see, okay, all of this is net positive, right? And you can even do an ROI filter here if you wanted to. Let's say of like 30%. Hit apply. So now, more than likely, what this is one, the sales rank is not being reported, or Keepa oftentimes doesn't, or not often, but sometimes they don't record the sales rank, and so you won't have any drops, but it could still be selling. Um, or two, uh, it's just barely missing your criteria. So look at right here. This is a prime example. This $10 net profit 30% ROI, but it missed because we're looking for 35% ROI. And I'm not saying like, hey, this is a buy, you should 100% go and do it, but it's worth looking at. And I tried to build the system in a way that made it easy to quickly identify these items like, hey, this is a buy, even though it doesn't meet criteria, or it's not a buy, and separate those out. Finally, then we can come to the no match found. And this is kind of getting into tip number 10, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So let me clear this out. And typically, what I'll do is, I mean, every day, multiple times a day, I'm buying off of the stuff that meets my criteria. At least once a day, if not more, I'm finding stuff to buy on does not meet criteria. No match found. So this will be tip number 10 is no match found. And some of you are asking like, how are you finding stuff to buy on no match found? And this is not going to be a good example, but the principle still applies. So let's just say, right, for instance, you have this unknown brand earring, emerald solitaire earring, right? That's not going to bring anything up when we do use this tool, but AZ Insight has this tool called Insight 360. And what it does is it allows you to perform Amazon searches off of Amazon. What do you mean by that, Jay? Well, let me show you. I'm glad you asked. If you highlight this text, right, wall surround sound surround system with speaker with subwoofer, right click. You see this right here? If you have Ace and Insight, you have this tool. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's Insight 360. And then you can, uh, you can deselect these in your settings. I like to look at Canada and Mexico for certain categories. They're really, really profitable. But let's just look in the US for this item. Sonance, it is branded, right? I think Sonance is a good brand or a well-known brand. Like I suspected, this wasn't going to be a good example, but you could easily come here. I've bought Nike game or get Nike games, Nike shoes from here, shorts, video games, all kinds of stuff because for whatever reason or another, the UPC is not bringing up anything in Amazon, right? And that stuff can still be hugely profitable, but it just doesn't meet our criteria or it can't be found. And so I would encourage you to look at the no match found every day, every time you run a search. And if it's a well-known brand, use the Insight 360 tool and see if you can't find a match for that in Amazon. Typically, I'm buying stuff off of the no match found list maybe once a week. Um, so yeah, there's that. All right, so tip number 10, and I picked this up from one of our beta users. Excuse me, sorry about that. Is our retailer selection. So some people just want to do Amazon flips. Some people don't want to do Amazon flips. So what you can do is we will reset this. Let's just click out of that. We'll reset the time selection. And let's just say you only wanted to look at things that can be sourced from Amazon. You would simply come here and select Amazon and then hit show all of those markdowns. And and then you can run the table, you can run the tool, I mean, SynciTRAGE, just on the Amazon flips if you just want to do Amazon flips. Consequently, or vice versa, if you didn't want to do Amazon flips, you can show the whole list, deselect all, and then select everything that you wanted to source from that was not Amazon, and then you can come down here and show just those retailers. So if you just want to see Academy, Best Buy, and Home Depot, you let it load up, and it's just going to show you those markdowns from those store, and you can for sure run the search that way. Um, Typically, I don't use it that way. I'm all about that wide net, but if you wanted to get surgical, you can. And that really goes behind the principle behind SynciTRAGE was I wanted to make it flexible and customizable for everybody so that it'll fit your needs however you choose to use it. So I hope you guys found that helpful. Those are 10 tips and tricks that we have for SynciTRAGE. If you guys have any questions, for sure hit me up at help@syncatrage.com. Have a good one.